Sure, talent is wonderful, but it can only take you so far. The ability to master a skill has nothing to do with talent. That is a common misunderstanding. When we see famous athletes, actors, and singers, the first thing that comes to mind is how talented they are. However, most of the time, their success is only partially due to talent because what they did to succeed was practice. And what you really need to master an ability is practice. Hello and welcome to another video by Luxio. Today we're touching on a great topic. We're sharing why deliberate practice is the key to mastering anything. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on more videos like this one. Now, let's begin. This may appear to be the most obvious thing in the world, but the shocking truth is that many people don't know how to practice something. And I don't mean mindless repetition. The key to mastering anything is deliberate practice. Practice with purpose. I'm sure you've heard of Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's NBA career was nothing short of spectacular. He won 5 NBA titles and 2 Olympic gold medals. During his playing career, he won numerous medals and amassed a net worth of more than $200 million. So how did you think he got so good? I will leave you with a hint. It wasn't just natural talent. Even when he was at the pinnacle of his game, Kobe never faltered in his practice regimen and always practiced with a purpose. There's a story from the 2012 Olympics that's really defined Kobe. In Las Vegas, a trainer named Robert was preparing Team USA for the Olympics. Kobe called him around 4:15 a.m. and asked him to assist him with some conditioning work. Robert dressed up and went down to the gym, where he discovered Kobe drenched in sweat. He'd already been working out and practicing on his own. They did conditioning training for an hour and 15 minutes after Robert arrived, followed by strength training for 45 minutes. After that, Robert left, leaving Kobe to continue practicing. When they reconvened for the team's actual training, Robert approached Kobe and asked when he had finished his training, to which Kobe replied that he just wanted to do 800 shots, which he did. Kobe wasn't just working out for the sake of working out. He had a very specific goal in mind, which was to make 800 jump shots through deliberate practice. It is not simply practice for the sake of practice or mindless repetition. It is having a clearly defined purpose with the goal of improving your performance. You can sense this in a tweet by New York Times best-selling author James Clear, which perfectly captures the essence of deliberate practice. What appears to be talent is often careful preparation. What appears to be skill is often persistent revision. And that perfectly describes Kobe, and that's exactly what you need. We frequently regard top performers and high achievers as gods, when in reality, they simply put in more time than we do. You don't become a great person overnight. It takes time and dedication. When we look at the people at the top of the mountain, we forget how hard they worked to get there. Nobody is born with the ability to be a master. To be called one of those, you must work. Experts are created rather than born. Bruce Lee once said, "I fear not the man who practices 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who practices one kick 10,000 times." We understand where he is coming from. Nobody wants to be on the receiving end of the kick, but it's also so much more. It proves that when you see an expert, you are looking at someone who has practiced something 10,000 times. However, even practicing alone would not suffice. Deliberate practice entails far more than simply practicing. It necessarily involves concentrated attention, specific goals, and a lot of feedback. It all comes down to being efficient with your practice. Let's return to the Kobe example. Why do you think he wanted assistance with his training? I mean, he was Kobe Bryant. But the truth is that for practice to be effective, feedback is required. An outside perspective can be extremely valuable in determining how to maximize your potential. Assume you're on a basketball court, practicing free throws. You take the ball, throw it, pick it up, and repeat the process. You'll get better, but you could get better much faster if you slow down and pay attention to what you're doing. Is this your method sound? Are you exerting enough pressure to be aware of all the elements in your practice? And feedback can assist you in your learning. While doing something on your own can be rewarding, learning is far more effective when accompanied by guidance and feedback. When you practice without feedback, you may be making the same mistakes over and over again without even realizing it, and this may actually assist you in developing a bad habit instead of the specific results you're looking for. You cannot expect to simply know things or things will be done correctly for the first time. Feedback can help you identify your weaknesses because let's face it, it can be difficult to break a bad habit. Every one of us is a creature of habit. It's human nature, and we're not always good at letting go. Next is the so-called sunk cost fallacy. Have you ever stayed in a relationship that you knew was doomed because you'd been together for so long? People find it extremely difficult to abandon a path once they've started it. We despise the thought of wasting our time or money on projects that will never be completed. We eat food we dislike because we have already paid for it. We continue to invest in a failing project in the hope that it will succeed. And when we stay in jobs we despise because we believe that's how it's supposed to be. Shouldn't we recognize when to cut our losses? Instead, we double down and keep going until things fail. This is known as the sunk cost fallacy. A sunk cost is one that you had already paid and cannot recover, and it is not always about money. A sunk cost can also be time or effort put into something. When determining whether or not these actions are beneficial to us, we consider the time and money spent. However, we are unable to grasp a simple concept. We won't get the time or money back. It has already vanished. As a result, we make irrational decisions rather than considering better alternatives. People are afraid of changing careers or learning something new because of the sunk cost. They don't want to admit that what they're doing now isn't good enough, that things aren't moving forward. But the world is changing right in front of our eyes, and we can't afford to stick with one thing indefinitely. At least, not if you want to be successful in life. This is not to say that you should abandon ship at the first sign of trouble. Simply put, if you are starting from scratch, you would need to remove the cost from the equation. Would you continue down the road if you said no? So why would you keep going now? You've already paid for the meal. You can never get back the years you spent with someone. Sometimes it's simply better to move on to something else, and this isn't just a small-scale issue. This affects even large corporations and governments. Consider the Concorde jet in 1956. The Supersonic Transport Aircraft Committee met to discuss the development of a supersonic plane called the Concorde. This was a joint project between French and British companies and governments, and it was estimated that it would cost nearly $100 million to complete. However, they realized halfway through that it would cost much more than that, and that the plane would never make up for the cost. But did they ever stop? No, because they had already spent all the time and money. They reasoned that it would be the best to continue wasting time and money on something that would never pay off. And what happened at the end? The costs have risen to $2 billion. The Concorde was only in operation for 30 years. As you can see, we are all susceptible to the sunken cost fallacy, but that should not deter you. Just because you've been doing something for a long time doesn't mean it's good for you or that you can't find something better. There are numerous examples of people who achieved greater success when they let go of their fear and tried something new. Tim and Nina Zagat left their legal careers at the age of 42 to start writing restaurant guides. Their company is now a subsidiary of Google. Vera Wang opened her first bridal boutique at the age of 41 after commissioning her own wedding gown for $10,000. This list could go on and on. So let's talk about how to use deliberate practice in your life. In order for deliberate practice to be effective, its 5 main principles must be followed. First and foremost, you require more than talent. Consider the Spanish violinist Pablo Sarasate. For 37 years, he practiced 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. People now regard him as a genius, but this is entirely due to his tireless efforts. Second, great performance demands hard work and repetition. To be successful at something, you must practice it over and over again. Repeated practice aids in the development of mental muscle memory, and consistency will ensure that you will receive consistent exposure. However, in order for this to work, a gradual process must be used. As a result, number 3, divide your activity into smaller tasks. You value quality over quantity. Yes, you will have to repeat these tasks numerous times, but if you want each step of the process to be as productive as possible, giving your all in short bursts is preferable to working all day when your mind and heart aren't in it. Staying focused for long periods of time can be difficult, which is why you should divide it into smaller chunks. It makes it a lot easier to handle. This can also be applied to the start of an activity where you don't necessarily want to dive in head first. That could deplete your motivation right away. It's sometimes better to start small and stick with it. As an example, in point 4, set goals and persevere. Motivation as well as perseverance are essential for achieving your goals, but working up to them can be difficult at times. Motivation can be difficult to come by. As previously stated, start small but start now. Maybe you'll just walk on the treadmill one day, then jog the next, and then run every day, but you have to start somewhere. Working your way up from simple to complex tasks allows you to stay motivated and persevered. You'll feel like you're winning and improving because you are, and we all love that feeling, don't we? Finally, and most importantly, seek feedback. We've already discussed the significance of feedback, but it's critical that you receive it. You want to know instantly what you're doing wrong or right when you're practicing. It is only through descriptive feedback that you can continue to improve. So that's it for today. Remember, if you worked so hard for deliberate practice, you will notice a significant improvement in your performance in any area of your life where you apply it. It will take a lot of hard work, commitment, and consistency, and you must also acknowledge that changes take time. But as they say, nothing good comes easy. You have to want it, and if you don't, you have to find motivation anywhere you can, even if it's in the most insignificant places. Taking small steps is preferable than taking none at all. So do you think you can apply this in your practice or any area in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thank you for sticking up until the end of our video. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel to see more of our inspiring videos. See you next time.